Really?
And it started in May for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just do your work if you'd be able to bring your laptop with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can just. I stream every session basically, even though most students aren't aware of that. It is now. I don't publicize it anywhere, but if you go to the class and click on the link, it's streaming live during the session. Or then you can watch, and then if you can't do it during that time, say you're busy over there, you can watch it post session as well. Yeah, and the reason I like using it is when you most screencast tools you get when you're done using it, you have to name it, edit it, whatever. At least name it and publish it and wait. Well, with YouTube, my events, live events, you name it, start, and gives you a link, and then when you're done, you hit stop. You're done. There's no more editing.
Yeah,
it's published.
Stays on that link.
Yep, it stays right on that link. Yeah, so I really like that.
So how does that work? Let's say I wasn't able to make it. Can I watch that stream? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, you can go to our this week's week 5, and go to podcast, click on it, and you're literally watching and listening like you would be on the overhead. Well, if you let me know, like the students did before, I told them in an email today, let me know if you're not going to be here. And there's a number of them going to be joining tonight via the online session. So yeah, I've done that for students during weather time, but also during work or travel, and they can connect to it that way. So you might not be able to do it live, and that's fine as long as they can see the screencast sometime after that class is over that week. That's the main thing. And with technology today, there's no reason why everybody should be doing it personally. We have the technology; it doesn't take much to do it. So, but that's my opinion. What do I know?
A friend of mine. Chinese guy.
Cool.
Yeah, I went there last year in May.
It was like what, 12, 13 hours?
Yeah, about 13 hours.
Yep. Yeah.
And then like when you get there, it's like 13 hours ahead. So like when I came back, I left there. It was like noon when I left. And then when I got back home, it was noon here. So it was just doing all out of that.
Yeah, that would be weird. Jet lag, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Closer. We're trying on a new thing as well. Besides, we're doing for my other class I teach in here, programming for Android. This screen resolution is terrible on this overhead. You guys have probably noticed it, but anyway, so I'm sharing my screen, and I'm going to be putting the information on our course here in just a second. You'll basically go to a certain website, type that code in, and be able to get in to what I see on my screen here. You'll be able to see on your end. So I'm getting ready to publish that real quick here. So we'll do that in just a second. And for those just coming in, we're going to basically jump right into announcements. I have about 5 connections right now that are connected at home that didn't drive in. I sent an email out earlier to folks. And we'll go through some announcements. We'll go into do the lab. Is the internet not working?
That one it says that it's connected, but it doesn't have any.
Oh, it probably has a TCP/IP not set to auto config.
It could be.
Yeah. If you need help on that one, let me know. I can show you how to do it. Because the Cisco lab's supposed to set that back, but they don't always do that.
Since nobody's coming today, I figured.
Yeah, that's fine. If that one's not working, let me know though, so you don't have to move again. I can show you how to do that if you don't know how to do it already. All right, here in just a second, I'll have you refresh the home page on Eagle, and there'll be some information at the top on how to connect. And then the board, on the whiteboard there is the ID that you'll need. Okay, I just published it to our homepage. It says live link only works during class. Enter session key on whiteboard, put your full name in and click the bottom green button that says join via web browser. Go ahead and do that. We got Jenner just connected. Good. I'll get everybody connected here. I'll get started. So again, it's on our homepage of our course. Were you able to get on the internet back there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. As soon as you get into the class, you should be able to, if you want, the easiest way to do this is probably going to be, it should have created a new tab for you for see my screen. You just go back between the tab for my screen and tab for your Eagle site. We're going to go to week 5 lab as soon as you get in and get logged into the session up there. And then we're going to do a LAN lab tonight. Connect while you're getting connected. I'll get some hardware out that we need. If you want to go back to the back of the room and grab each person needs to have at least one of the white cables, which is the second tier there on the left, is one of the white cables. You'll need that. And you two are separated here, but it'll work fine. We'll just put this in the middle here. We'll have you two work together as one team. You two work together as one team. And instead of printing this out, I think I'll show you what's going to happen here. And I'll write up on the board. So when you get back to your desk, fire up my screen so you can see it. If you wouldn't mind, and I'll go over this document. So basically what we're going to do for the lab is show you how to set up a LAN, which is going to have the hub, which you have now, a straight cable, and a PC. And the steps to do it is you will both get a number. And so I'll give you 1, you 2, you're 1, you're 2. And so that number I just gave you is going to be the last number in the IP address that you're going to hard code in just a second. And so I'll leave this on the screen here in front of you. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to set here in just a second your network connection, your IP address to a manual connection. It's right now set to auto config. And if ever you come in here like he came in here earlier and the internet wasn't working, usually it's hard coded in like we're getting ready to do. Cisco will do that to connect to the switches. What we're going to show you in this lab, not only how to set up a LAN, but how to hard code your IP address and then also set it back to what's called auto config for both the IP address and the DHCP and the DNS. And so to get to it easily on your computer, on your version of Windows you have, basically it says in this one to double click network connections, and it should be on the right side of your computer. So if you'll click on that, on the bottom right side of your computer, there should be a network connections area that you'll click on, and it'll come up on the left side and it'll show up some network options there on the right. On the left side, one of them be network adapter settings or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I'll look over your shoulder. It's a network change adapter settings is what we want to click on. When you click on change adapter settings, you're going to go down and click on the correct NIC card. Now it's going to be the one that does not have anything about Cisco on it or VMware. It will be something like an Intel Ethernet connection. Find that local area connection and then right click on it, go to properties, and scroll down till you find the IP version 4. There should be an IPv6 and a v4. You're going to click on the 4. Yours is right there. The one that has Intel. It's the only one that has Intel. That's the right one. Then right click on that, go to settings, properties, I'm sorry. And then scroll down to the Internet Protocol version 4. Then click on properties. Right now it's set to auto config, but you're going to type in the IP address, which I'll show you up here. In fact, you go back to that tab real quick, if you can without shutting that screen out. Basically, what it's going to be is those users that are 1 are going to put an IP address in of 10.0.2.1. So if you want to go and put that in, you'll click the radio button that says use the following IP address, and everybody's going to do that. The .1 people is going to put 10.0.2.1, and then just hit the tab key on your keyboard, and it should put in the subnet of 255.0.0.1. And then if you're a 2, you'll put a 2 on the end. So 10.0.2.0, 10.0.2.1. Whichever number I gave you, that's what's going to be on the end, and just hit the tab key. You got to hit the tab key on your keyboard. It should put in the subnet for you, and then click OK. Got that okay over here?
Yeah, so I'll always put one of that.
Yeah, where you're the one, and then just hit the tab key. Good, and then hit OK. And then click close after you click OK. That way it applies it. Boom. See what we do over here, right? Just hit close and apply. Do it up.
10.0.2.1 for the 2s.
Were you a 1 or 2?
Yeah, it was 1.
The 1, so you're going to be 2.
Yeah.
So you're going to be 2 on the end instead of 1. And then go ahead and click OK. Right. Now, next thing we've got to do is the hard connections I gave you, the Cat5s and the modem. Not the modem, the hub, thank you. You're going to plug the hub in, find some power source around. I think the power supply in this room is near the wall, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll need to plug that in. And in the back of your hubs, I'll plug it in 1 and 2. And you'll need to disconnect the existing connection on your NIC card, which should be the existing white Cat5 going in. Correct? Yeah, they're white. And they should be going into the NIC card port at the back of your computer. We can do that in the chair. Yep. And just make sure to put it, you'll have to probably get on your knees, or you could move that out, possibly shouldn't be, or you just grab it right here and move it out. Grab it out, move it out. Then move it to where you can get to it. Yeah, it's probably easier to get on your knees and do it. You do this a lot in networking anyway. You just need to make sure once we're done, we're going to put back everything the way it is now. So you're replacing that Cat5 that you took off the wall with the Cat5 that's plugged in your computer in the NIC card, and it's the white Cat5 that's plugged into these switches. And you'll plug that Cat5 into the back of the hub, and the light should be blinking on the hub if it's working correctly. There you go. Just make sure when you plug it into the hub, you hear it click, and make sure the lights are on the hub. On the front, you should have the light correspond the port you put into it. Cool. And I'm just going to there you go. The light blinking there. Cool. All right. And I'll walk you through visually the rest of this because you're not going to be able to see me anymore because you're disconnected from the internet now. All right. So I'll walk you through the rest over here. So now that you're now connected to the hub, both of you are connected to the hub, you're both hard coded in the IP address. And the reason we had to do separate IP addresses is like anything that talks on any type of anything, whether it be a network, whether it be a website with usernames, they all have to be unique. Okay. And so it's a unique IP address just for you and this little small LAN that you're setting up. Now, when you hit the tab key, you'll notice it only fulfilled the first octet, which means, and the way the classes work in a LAN is you have class A, B, C, D, and E. Each octet that's populated with anything but zeros, starting with the left, determines what class you're in. So when you hit a tab key, you'll notice it only populated the first octet, meaning it's class A. That's the LAN that we're in. If at home, if you were to type in a 192.168.1.1, which is a popular Wi-Fi router IP address, and hit tab, it would have put it in the class B, and then also into class C. If you go in a higher range, you won't ever get a class D because that's a broadcast range. Okay. Most likely at home use, it's going to be a class B or C, more likely a C. And then generally a C class is a class for home or non-commercial use where you're connected to an ISP, like most consumers are, okay? When you go to work tomorrow, a lot of your workplaces will have like a 10 dot number, or they'll have a 11 dot number or something like that. A lot of home users will have the 192 number or the 176 number, which are popular for Wi-Fi routers, the default IP address. And we will go over, by the way, in more detail when we do we do a lab coming up where we talk about IP address and subnetting and the importance of classes and stuff. But that's all you need to know about why it only fulfilled the first octet. And that's because, and the second octet, or the second thing about subnetting is not only class, but the second thing is the number of the subnet is important. You'll talk more about this semester that the subnet number allows you to subdivide a network with the same IP range, but different subnets. So the example would be, just like in here, if we wanted to, we could set up our routers to have multiple separate subnets within a classroom or within a building to where those subnets would only talk to one another and be totally divided, but the same exact IP range could be used for all those subnets. That way you can use the same IP ranges multiple times internally and never run out of numbers, basically. You just create a new subnet. It also helps with security because once you're connected to a subnet, you can't talk to other subnets. You can't communicate to other subnets. So a lot of governmental facilities use subnets a lot, multiple subnets. Banking uses multiple subnets, or like banking managers on different subnets than the clerks or something like that, maybe. Just an example. Make sense? And so that's what subnetting is about. And again, you'll learn more about subnetting this semester. And I would recommend, we do have a Cisco class that goes over not only switching, but subnet technologies, which is, if you're going into networking at all, it's probably good to take that Cisco class, which is, one of the first classes you take in Cisco. And a lot of labs, just weekly labs you're doing all the time. And it's a good class. And so they are changing the curriculum all the time. And all the labs might not work, but that's the nature of networking. Sometimes they don't work. But it's a good learning. It's a good learning environment, I think. So everybody's on a separate IP address, same subnet. Now what you're going to do is, if you'll go to the folder or go to your desktop, basically, you're going to create a folder on your desktop. Just right click anywhere on your desktop and say create new folder. Should be an option to do that. And I want you to name your folder PC, whatever number I gave you. So PC1 or PC2. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set up the security to where you can see each other's folders, okay? Because we're actually on a peer-to-peer network that we're using here. And so when you right-click on that folder here on your shoulder, go to the security tab. Actually, go to the sharing tab first. Go to the sharing tab. And in the sharing tab, you'll have two buttons, the sharing button and then an advanced sharing. Click on the share button first, and you'll notice a drop down that'll have nothing in it and it's blinking. If you just type in the word every, EV, just type in the word EV, actually, and then hit the drop down, and it should get everyone available. Caps E, I think it is. And then once you select everyone, go ahead and hit the add button and change it from read only to read and write, which is a drop down under the permission column. I got that. And then go ahead and click save or share. And now it should say this folder is shared, PC1, PC2, whatever it is. Click done. Now go down to the advanced sharing just to make sure we're good. On the advanced sharing, check box to share this folder. All right, notice it says in here, right now the maximum is 20, which is going to be fine. Click on permissions. And notice in here, everyone is in there. And check allow on everything for everyone. So full control, change and read. And then click apply, click OK. What this does now is you've given that person that's peer-to-peer to you now the control of going into that folder and doing whatever they want to. They can create files, they can delete files, and do whatever. So now go ahead and click close once you've done that on all the prompts that are open. And what you're going to do for this exercise, once that folder is created, is you're going to now do a Windows E command, which is the easiest way to get to where I'm needing you to go. The Windows button on your keyboard and the letter E will pop up a network window for you. At the very top of that window is a bar that you can type in your address of your neighbor. So if you are .1, you'll type in a 10.0.2, is that right? 10.0. Yeah, 10.0.2.0, no, .2, if you're a 1. And then the other person is going to type in 10.0.2.1, and then hit enter after you type that in. And these are 2 backslashes, by the way. When you type in the 2 backslashes and that IP address and hit enter, you should see the folder that they created. I'll come around and help you. Make sure you're not in Internet Explorer. You look like you're in Internet Explorer. You actually want to do it at the top where it says computer, is where you want to type it in.
Yeah. Right.
Yep, 2 backslashes. So replace computer, just put your cursor up here where it says computer on to the right of it. Then 2 backslashes. And then his IP address. So you are what, a .1 or .2? Okay, so it's going to be a 10.0.2.2, right? And then hit enter. Go ahead and hit enter on the keyboard. Oh, you have to mark it. For some reason, you didn't stay here. Oh, you on 4? Yeah, that's right. 10.0.2.1 is you. That's not good. Go ahead and type in his IP address now, 10.0.2.2.
I can see you.
Now, if you can't see each other, here's another trick you can do sometimes, is you can right-click on your NIC card where you guys went in and set the IP address and disable it and enable it. That will sometimes work. You got it? Okay, you got it now. Cool. So once you see each other, you're going to double-click and get into that folder of each other, okay? You haven't got into his? Okay. Can you see him?
No, I can see him.
You can see him, he can't see you.
Right.
All right, so let's see what you got. Let's check your IP address first. Just go to the network where we went to earlier to set your IP address. Network neighborhood. There you go. Let's go to change adapter settings. Right click. Go to properties. And we'll go IP version 4. Properties. That's you, right?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and click OK. Click close. Click close again. Now right click and disable. And then right click enable. Disable at the very top. And right click enable. Okay, good. Now let's sit there just a second. Now go back up to where you were there. And your cursor up here. That says IP address, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead and hit the return key or enter key. double click on users, and double click on student and desktop. And you see PC2 in there? Okay. So where the reason yours didn't map to his, he can see.
Yeah, I don't think I got it all through. Like where
He can see you.
Where you're supposed to be typing in the IP address. I'm lost.
Okay, just put your cursor up here, and the 2 backslashes, and then his IP address. Good. And then double click on his PC1, right? Good. All right, so everybody is in each other's folder right now. What you want to do now is right click inside that folder, create a new text document. Create a new text document. And I want you to type in the name of that text document is going to be first initial last name .txt, I'm sorry. So right click, create text document, save it as first initial last name. So mine would be CKONKOL.txt. It should put TXT in there for you, but you might wipe it out by accident or something, so you can make sure it's in there. Now open up that document now, if it's not already open, double click on that notepad document and put your first name and last name on the very first line. Save it. Okay. And close out of it. All right. You successfully not only created your first LAN tonight, you've also successfully shared a folder on that LAN and written a file on each other's folder on that LAN. Now, you that didn't create the folder on the other end, or you that did create the folder on your end, open up that folder on your desktop to make sure your neighbor has that file in that folder that you created. Okay, now what you're going to do is reverse here. Everybody that created the file on the other person's computer, you're going to right click on that file and delete it. Okay, right click on that first initial last name .txt, delete it, which should give you the ability to do that since you have all rights on that folder. And then what you're going to do is exit out of all of the open documents you have in your computer, all the open windows. And then everybody's going to right click on that folder that you created and delete it. And then what we'll do is reverse logic on the IP address. You go back into your IP version 4 and just check box the 2 radio button or the top radio button that says auto config. Check that and then click apply, click OK. Unplug everything that you plugged in on the back of your NIC with the existing Cat5 that was in there and check to make sure your internet works and everything. And what we'll do is we'll have you submit your name in week 5 lab as a confirmation that it not only works, but the internet works and you're able to submit things. And I'll have you put the Cat5s back against the back wall. And if you do me a favor, the hubs that you have, when you unplug them from the wall, you take a power cord and wrap it around the hub. You can put it in here on the shelf on this cabinet, in the top, second shelf on the top on the right. Just throw it in there, it'll be fine. And then we'll come back and talk about that some more. After you come back to your computer, make sure you have internet connection. You submit your name in week 5 lab. And you will need to reconnect, by the way, once you get back to your computer, you will need to reconnect to the sharing service again, once you get back into Eagle. And good job. As soon as you get back into Eagle, log in, click on the top link, live link thing. The keys up here is always at the top, the 707 number. Make sure you click the bottom green button to connect. As soon as you do that, you can go into week 5 lab and put your name in there if you haven't already done so. Like Christian's in. So while you're doing that, let's talk about also review questions this week on Chapter 4. week 5 quiz is chapter 4 as well. Next week, the lab we'll be doing next week is the cabling lab, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Cat 5 cabling lab. That one will take the entire period. So when we come in at 7:30, we'll start at it. There's a number of things I got to go over, showing all the tools. I'll have a whole bunch of Cat 6s created and cut for us, and some documentation on how to do it, how to do the deed, and then we'll go right into creating the Cat 6 cable. And it says Cat 5 on the document, so for years we did Cat 5, but now we're using Cat 6. It's the same thing, just different cabling, that we used before. We'll create a crossover cable and a straight cable. The crossover cable is used for such things like we did tonight, but you wouldn't need the hub in between. You could literally take a crossover cable, plug it in between 2 computers, laptops, whatever, and they could talk to one another. Now, the Windows OS is smart enough now to where you literally don't have to hard code the IP address anymore like we just did. But it's good to do and to know how to do it, because when you're truly setting up a local LAN, a small one, you want to hard code in those IP addresses and know how to do it. It's not real hard to do, as you just found out. But with a crossover cable, you can set up a true peer-to-peer, an ad hoc peer-to-peer easily with a crossover cable. And again, the word crossover means it's crossing 2 wires in that connection between the 2 ends of the wire, to where basically you don't need the middleman, which is going to be served right now as a hub, or the switches that are on your table already. And so it basically switches those 2 wires, so you don't need them. Peer-to-peer we'll talk about more, which is also going to be, we're not going to do that in class, but on the peer-to-peer document that you're looking at there on the screen in front of you, it's a document that goes over how to set up a peer-to-peer at home on your home network, and we'll go over that. You'll also get a 3-ring binder handout, to where, or not a binder, but it'll be 3-hole punched handout where you can put in a binder to do later. And again, because Cat 5 or Cat 6, what we're doing now is, if you go out and buy, if you're doing an installation at home, you can do it much cheaper creating it yourself than you can going out and buying a whole bunch, because I think it used to be a year ago, it was about $3 a foot, roughly $3 or $4 a foot, to go out and buy pre-made cabling with the ends already made for you. But you can do that much cheaper doing it yourself. And it's, in my mind, it's just good information to have. Now, would you ever do it as a career? Probably not. But I have had students that have done the cabling lab and decided they want to go into a cabling career. They really like doing it. And not everybody's, excellent at it, but everybody who's completed this lab we're going to do next week, and I've had them everywhere all the way up to 80 years old do this lab. And so, yeah, you'll do fine. And if you've ever done cabling before, I know some of you have, as I've talked to you, I know who those folks are, and I'll probably utilize you in your table. And the way we've always done it in here is you can't leave your table, in this case your quad 4, until the whole table's done. And so when you get done, you can help another person. But I'm requiring everybody to do the crossover first, and then most of you all have time to do a straight cable, which is what we use in here and on most modern networks, where it plugs into a switch or a hub. The other thing I want to mention was, this has nothing to do with the class, is we have a couple new job postings that I wanted to make mention. You might have seen on posted on social media, some job postings. We also have a job fair coming up. I'll go back to this one here. The job fair is coming up. Let's see here. February 20th at 6 p.m. and 1322 downstairs. And basically what it's for is to help you get your resume evaluated if you want, have some people look at it that, hire folks for a living and kind of give you some pointers and things. And there'll also be refreshments there as well. So you can just come in, have them look at your resume, and then leave. You don't have to stay for any period of time. And so I recommend that. But I'm going to go to the jobs posting on our site on myrbc.org and show you some of the jobs we recently posted that are still hiring for. Some have hired some, but they're still hiring more. One is Montel. looking for a DevOps person on Montel. And the DevOps position, I'm reading it here for you. It's a front end and back end programmer, and it's web mainly, so basic HTML type of programming. If you have other language skills, definitely utilize. It is a multi position type of job. We might hire 2 or 3 interns possibly, but it's a pay position as well. That's a good thing. Trek is still hiring a mobile app developer in iOS. If you know any iOS developers, you yourself have done some, that'd be great. The other 2 newer ones at the bottom here is interns. Ty Comics is hiring internship. Theirs is in the, it's an internship for $12 an hour. And, oh, it's at the top here. Scroll down too fast. So Ty Comics is infrastructure support services intern. Basically, that means anything they want you to do. Okay, whatever they want you to do. But it's $12 an hour, 16 to 20 hours a week. They work around your school schedule for 16 weeks. So you not only get paid, but you also get at the end of that 16 weeks, if you want, you can get 1 credit hour going towards your graduation, which you can do that. And so again, it'd be a good kind of well-rounded. You got to get to know how things work in a consulting type firm like that, because they do programming, networking, installation, both. They totally take over companies and take their whole IT support. So you see everything from desktop, laptop, deployment to programming to web development, all that stuff. So anyway, if you're interested in that, I think I have in there, let me look on that one. Most all these jobs have a place to send your resume. Kelly Cooper, K.Cooper at Rock Valley College EDU is a person to send your resume to. If you want me to look at your resume prior to sending it, I'd be more glad to help you with that. And you don't need any knowledge whatsoever, anything networking, just you're a networking student, need a part-time job, want to learn some more, be a good opportunity. Then internship web and photography. This is still open. Burpee Museum, everybody's familiar with Burpee. They have an opening for a intern to do some minor WordPress updates, which is a real popular website building system. You don't have to have any programming experience. You really don't have to have any WordPress experience. It's that easy. I can show you how to do it. And also, you might be called upon to do some photography. They have tons of artifacts, and she put me through the tour a while back and did that's over that. And by the way, she gets paid nothing to do that. She's doing the directorship at no pay right now. They can't afford anybody. And so this is a non-paid internship, but it'd be a cool internship because you're taking the web updates that basically and the photos, which basically is taking a photo from all the back artifacts and post them online for schools to see and kids to see. She did put a grant in for it. I don't know if she was accepted yet for a $60,000 3D scanner. That what they're wanting to do is take these artifacts and literally take a 3D photo scan of those artifacts and put those scans online to where you can use artificial AR, basically the augmented reality, not artificial, augmented reality you guys have heard of. And so augmented reality right now is in the iOS world only, and Trek is one of the companies that I talked about earlier that's doing that for them inside internally. When you walk through, they're working on a virtual augmented reality tour on their internal stuff. They already have it on the floor. But they also might need a student to take, when they get that 3D printer in or 3D scanner, to take that data and put it online for folks to search for it. And they basically take their iOS app and point it at anything that they see on the website with this app and be able to bring it into a classroom, bring that object into the classroom where the students can see it and turn it around with the app and all that fun stuff. So I don't know if you've ever done AR before, or I know you've probably heard of it. Basically, the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. Virtual reality, when you put the goggles on, it literally you go into that place, right? You're literally a part of that place. augmented reality brings that object into your world, basically, with that app or with that, basically it's an app. And so it can bring in droids into your world. It can bring, bands into your world, whatever. You name it, it can bring it into your world, basically. Good, bad, and ugly. And so one of the cool things about this one is it can bring in artifacts in the museum that she said will probably never make it to the floor because they just don't have the room. It's back there in drawers, basically. So it'd be kind of a cool thing. So if you're not interested, or maybe you know somebody that might be, that knows a little bit about internet, about web, about photography, yeah, it'd be a good opportunity. And she would definitely welcome and be appreciative of that for sure. And what's cool about it is I've never had an intern, paid or unpaid, either one, never regret it. They've always benefited from it, because even on the unpaid ones, you're rubbing shoulders with city leaders. One story I'll share is I had a social media intern for Transform Rockford that we helped build the website there and their social media. Anyway, Aaron did social media stuff for about a year, maybe, on and off. She graduated from NIU, took some Rock Valley classes. And but anyway, she was at one of the events at Transform Rockford taking pictures for social media. And a city of Beloit leader was there, and they needed a social media director, and they'd had a position open for a while. They really hadn't found anybody that they wanted to hire. Well, they knew Aaron through the position she did at the internship, got to know her, and basically they gave her the job. She applied for it. She had no work experience, but she had all internship experience doing the job that we trained her to do. And she was there for about 3 years, and then got moved on to another company in Beloit. And in fact, it's you guys have heard of Ebates before, maybe? It's right across from Ebates. She's working for an incubator firm, basically, that brings people in, students like yourself, trains them in how to create a business LLC, create a pitch for your idea, and get money backing. She works for that company now, and so she went from internship to City of Beloit for a couple of years to this job, which she's doing really good. So anyway, that's where internships can lead, and so it always leads to a positive thing, I guess is what I'm saying. Because sometimes students, and I know sometimes you can't afford to do a free internship. You don't have time, or you can't afford it. You need something paid. There's always paid ones out there too. And majority of companies that we do internships with pay because it's the same work. On their end, they have to do the same paperwork. They have to have the same insurance. Everything's got to be the same. And students, or just people in general, usually maybe put a little bit more output when they're getting paid some money generally. And that's true with everybody. And so, but anyway, keep checking the website. If you're not already following us on Facebook and Twitter, on the My Receive site, when you go there, you can follow us. I think it's at the bottom of the site. You can click on the Facebook and Twitter link and follow us. So questions about that? Anything to talk about on the jobs? Yeah.
I had an interview at Tectonics.
You did?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Okay. You haven't heard anything back. Okay.
They said it would take
Yeah.
application development.
Yep. Yeah. They had a lot of interns apply. So, and they're going to be cycling them through. I know. So if they told you a couple of weeks, I would, if it's been 2 weeks, I would say if you don't hear anything back by Friday, give them a call Monday and say, hey, I told Professor Conkle about, the interview, and he recommended a call back to see if there's anything you guys need from me, whatever. You can drop my name in there. I don't mind you doing that. Yeah, that'd be great. Cool. Any other questions? All right. Well, we are done for the night. Thanks for coming out, you four, and no more. We did it. All right. Well, some of you maybe have to drive a distance. Hopefully you don't have to drive too far. Just be careful. Do me a favor. Go ahead and shut down your computer and the ones to your left, if you could do that. the screen sharing, do my screen work all right? The monitor, again, the resolution on this thing's terrible. And I have to do it in my programming class because they literally cannot see the text, especially where you're at. Not going to see it at all. It's too small. Kago is what we're using, which seems to work pretty good. So anyway, be careful. Be careful tomorrow. We'll probably wake up to a pretty good accumulation, I guess it sounds like. We'll see you.
Look for the RBC